Well, it depends. It depends on what you want to do. If you want people to mix, you don't want a lot of chairs.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Okay. When they're on their feet, they're moving.
Okay, so well, we got these three extra.
Okay. Just in case. Yeah, depending on how long things go, I may have to cut out early. I have a plumber coming.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Michelle, enter the weekend.
Somebody cut me.
Should I look?
Huh?
Who's Michelle?
Okay.
If it's not an employee and it's not a trustee, then no.
Is he there now? No, I'm not the second of these things.
Check.
Can you message them?
I don't think so, do you? I don't know who Michelle is. I don't know. It could be, because I
Do
knew
they
we
want
want
this
daughter's name Michelle.
Do they want this recorded?
Well, I was gonna say if the trustees don't show up, other trustees, and they have questions for other trustees, then I feel like I want to share this with them. So that was my concept behind it. Do you not want to? I mean, it's not gonna be public, not gonna like YouTube public it.
I just don't know. It's just they're so camera shy and so I just don't know what hit. I just don't know what.
Do you guys know anyone who might be under the name Michelle? Because I said this is only for trustees and employees, and we don't know anyone named Michelle.
Unless it's one of the trustees using their kids' accounts or.
No, but we've all been on Zoom before, and none of us have had a Michelle issue.
Is anybody going to be on Zoom?
I don't know. We got one person, I don't know who this person is though.
Michelle though. Who is?
Someone named Michelle.
Is waiting to be admitted. Do we know anyone who is named Michelle or would use an account with?
I mean, before anyone gets here, maybe admit them and just say,
Oh, wait. I thought it was for trustees and employees.
yeah, that's why we're trying to figure out if
Michelle is. If it's someone using someone else's account.
You know what, check to see who it is, and then if it's not a trustee, say it's sorry.
We have to, well, it'll be, I will admit him and then you guys.
Progress.
Oh, Margaret.
Margaret.
Ah,
Hi, Margaret.
Hi, Margaret.
Hi, Margaret. We didn't recognize the name Michelle. And so we almost threw you out.
Oh. Who almost threw me out? Who almost threw me out? I want to know the name of that person.
Margaret.
hi, come on in. Thank you. No one wants to ever be the first one. So you gotta like take one out.
Where's
And
everybody?
then they can grab a four. If you want to sit down, yeah, or stand up. We'll see how many people turn out.
Oh, well, I'm gonna.
Mike, do you want me to open this?
Oh, thank you. It's one of my favorite colors. I love that. It looks really nice. Thank you. Yes, red is my favorite color too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll give it to like 3:05 to see if anyone else joins.
Carolyn is on the way too.
Oh, perfect.
Does everyone love seeing themselves on camera? That's why I'm.
You can't see me. There.
Where, everybody. Where is everybody on Zoom?
We'll see. Not yet. We'll wait a couple more minutes. See who else can join us.
Can't understand anything.
Too bad you don't get to eat the goodies.
Show her what she's missing.
All kinds of desserts.
Oh, who baked?
Marge did.
What'd you
Marge
get,
did.
Marge?
Oh, nice.
What I could buy.
She says you're not in the screen, so she can't see it.
There you are. Email.
Okay.
Do you guys think any
I'm gonna try
other?
and stay. I'm gonna try and stay, but I may have to cut out for a call.
Okay.
Okay,
The girls said they were gonna be for
that's
one.
why I was this
Oh,
morning.
I can go relieve them if they want to come in.
We'll start a little bit simple, and then I know people obviously have to be on the floor, so they come in and out, grab at least grab sheet. But really for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Rosa, your board president. And so we kind of just wanted to make sure you guys know who your people are, who your board is. And then kind of just address a little bit some clarity on a couple of things. So that's me. I'll start with you guys go.
I've been chicken around for close to 24 years. Most of you know, at large, I'm secretary.
I'm Sylvia, and I just hold the seat down.
I'm over.
Cheers.
So I know there's some other board members who make it, and again, you guys know, this is a volunteer position for us. We do have full-time jobs that we have to attend to. So that's some of the reasons why some people couldn't come. I sent the Zoom meeting. Hopefully, maybe someone joins a little bit later. But the other representatives are it's Edgar, Sam, and Natasha. So we are your board. And I know a lot of the concerns were, okay, there's a lot of talk of, are your jobs in jeopardy? And there's a lot of like talks on our videos of like, why are we looking into, who's getting paid what, or who's getting what health insurance? That has always been in play. It's just you guys are now seeing it because it's on video and we put it on YouTube. Doesn't mean that we're saying, oh my gosh, John Doe is getting paid too much money, we need to let them go. It does not work that way. So we just want to make sure that it's clear that we are just doing our due diligence to make sure that the numbers are correct, that everything is matching what it's supposed to. And we do have, of course, there's Joanne who checks it. We have auditors, but Natasha signs off on the check. She's got to double check on her side some of the information. So yeah, some people might ask for a little bit more information than others, but because they're just double checking the work. It's not a bad thing. It's making sure that the money is going where it's supposed to. That was the first thing. I'm sure there's questions on Blake, right? We did not appoint him. That doesn't mean anything against you guys. It doesn't mean anything against him. It's just the board decided not to reappoint him. And that was just because there are certain things that were against the board that he decided to do. So there was a couple of items in there of why we did not reappoint him. But that has nothing to do with your jobs. What questions do you guys have for us?
You gotta have questions and you can talk freely. Because as Rosa said, none of your jobs are in jeopardy. And the three of us will certainly make sure that we will do whatever we can to make sure that's different, because we certainly appreciate the work that you do and the things that you do, and your salaries are not in jeopardy, your benefits are not in jeopardy. Nothing is in jeopardy here. Okay, just so you know that. And I'm sure that that's what all of your concerns are here right now. I know that. I can feel it. It's palpable in this room. And I don't know why nobody else is here, but the three of us are very appreciative of what you do. We know that you work hard. We know that you depend upon what is being paid to you and what your benefits are. We know you depend on that, and that will not be affected.
Any changes that we make, because I know we're looking at health insurance stuff, right? That it's a lot that goes into that. So there is not going to be a sudden, hey, next month you guys no longer have this option. I told Joanne this year, I think it's going to take her, not that it would take her a year, but it's going to take her some time to see what options, and then the board would have to vote on those options. And of course, I think your enrollment period is usually like in October for the next year. So it's going to be, you've got some time. Nothing is going to be all of a sudden, hey, you no longer have this insurance. We do look at obviously cost options. We always try to get 3 bids for anything that's cost, with flying money. Our job is to make sure that we're spending the money wisely. So I think that was just one of the biggest factors. It's not that, you guys don't deserve a raise. It's not that you guys, don't deserve 80% that we pay 80%, you guys pay 20% of it. It's not about that. It's budget wise for the library. It's how we spend our taxpayers. I know not all board members are here. I know there are some, I think you guys are having some of those emails. I know you have some of their information. I know Deb really has told me if anyone wants to email her or call her directly, because questions specifically for her, she is available.
Oh, no, she can hear, I
Can
think.
you hear Margaret?
No, I could hear Sylvia very well. I'm sorry for the interruption, but Rosa, you're blurred, and maybe could you speak a little slower?
Of
It's-
course, yeah.
No, it's not, might be my computer. I'm so sorry to bother you, but just a little slower. But Sylvia, I can hear very clearly.
The direction you're talking.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say that if you have any specific questions for any of the other board members, we're here now, 3 of us. But if, I know Deb specifically, she's one of the board members who said if anyone wants her email address or her phone or wants to set up a meeting where she comes in, if he has anything specific for her, she is available. If you guys have anything specific for any other board members, I can definitely reach out and ask them if they're open to me really giving their phone number or email. But just remember, not everything or not anything is on one single board member. It is the entire board. So it is a majority. So it doesn't matter if one person really feels strongly about something, it's not going to go their way. It is a majority vote. What concerns do you guys have? What other things did you want us to address?
It has been said during a board meeting on several occasions that they see that there's so many people on the schedule, yet they only see so many people in the building at a time. Do you guys realize we do serve the public if we're not out at a front desk that is greeting patrons coming in or helping them find books? I'm in the back, maybe making schedules, reconciling the cash register deposits for a week or so. So I may not be out at the desk all the time, but yeah, that's why I'm on the schedule. Is
We have an off desk.
in the building, so it's
We have off desk work.
off desk work. Yes.
Yeah, of course. And I know, I think just recently, like in the last month or two, we've asked Danielle to include a calendar of not just events here at the library, but events that are outside of the library. So our calendar, we got a little bit more of a visual of like, okay, just because there's 10 people on the schedule, doesn't mean there's 10 people in the building. So I think that definitely helped a little bit. But you know, I do see the worst, you know, some board members might be concerned, okay, well, we have so many people on staff, but, and there's a little bit of truth there, right? Why do we need 10 people on a Monday, but only 2 people, not literally, but only 2 people on a Saturday, right? So then that, and I will encourage the board, that is a question that we need to ask the director, whoever's in charge, hey, just justify this for us, or let us know what was the reason behind that. And it could be simple as take a look at the calendar. There was one event at Morton, one event here, and another event, you know, at the Central Stickney. And that's easy versus, you know, you didn't have much going on Saturday. So I know there's a little bit of discrepancy there, and that's just, you know, of course, if any board member has questions, we're just encouraging them to ask. And we don't, and you guys see the videos, I strongly encourage, you know, don't assume anything, right? And I don't want to assume what your questions are for us, and I don't want the board to assume things about the library. Like if they have a question on specifically why are there 10 people and they only see 2, it's as simple as a question. Just ask the director. There's no reason to make up any excuses or jump to conclusions on anything. It's a simple question, and I will urge the rest of the board just freely ask. There's no reason to, you know, be slick about it and kind of, you know, wait for it to the day of at the board meeting. Like just ask ahead of time.
And you also have to understand, we're open 6 days a week, 11 hours a day, Monday through Thursday too. So Friday and Saturday, that particular department has to be split up into 2 different days. Fridays for one group, Saturdays for the other, and the next week vice versa. So that's how that works.
Yeah, we schedule department wise, not as a whole. So depending on what's going on in a given department, there may be more or less staff in the building. So that could be.
Okay, that's good to know.
Before I speak, I have kind of a laundry list.
And before you do, I'm gonna let Sienna.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Back to your dad.
No.
We'll leave here.
Yeah, thank you.
Would you like me to wait for them?
You want, yeah, maybe something they'd be concerned about?
Yeah, I know everybody's concerned.
Yeah.
One thing,
that I think puts people at unease
Mhm.
is you three have a very positive, direct approach, but it's civil and it's not yelling. And I think what's upsetting staff and patrons, we heard from patrons, is the style or the manner of asking questions and things like that. Yes, they're asking questions, but it comes off as accusatory and negative.
Demanding is.
And demanding is okay, but there's a nice way to.
Well, then when you're asking rather than demanding.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. That's just a.
And some of that happens with like, we know some board members have like, figure out code, right? And so sometimes it may come across wrong, but that's just sometimes, right? It's part of that.
Slow down.
So sometimes it's part of the accent, right? We know some board members have that.
A little
the thicker
slower,
accent.
a little slower, just a little slower, please.
Fast. And of course, so I opted to record this because I know not all the board members are here and I would like to share this video with them. So that if, the concerns that you guys are bringing, it's not just me, Marge and Sylvia, who are making decisions or talking on behalf of the board. Like I said, everything is a board decision. It doesn't matter if I strongly feel something about anything. It's a board as a whole. And so if you guys have questions, we're happy to take it back and, we'll discuss. And I know December is a maybe meeting. I think we will end up having one because of all the things that are changing. And I know, right, one of the biggest questions is interim director, right? What we don't have anything official yet. There is nothing set in stone. We have an idea, but again, it's all up in the air stuff. So we don't have an answer for you right now. But that is something that will hopefully happen very soon. And a tentative December 14th is the next meeting. I think we're gonna need it. Normally we skip our December meeting, but I think because of all the changes right now, we probably will need that. But you guys will be the first to know.
I'm sorry, but I missed your answer to Geraldine's question about the sound and the approach when you're addressing one another at the board. Civility. Could you please speak to that a little slower so that I understand it?
Of course. I do know that there is some necessity around some of the professionalism, right, that we have to keep as a board. And the respect that you expect is the same respect that you need to give. That is something I will continue to keep stressing at the board. And sometimes things just come off the wrong way, but it's not how they mean it, not how they intend it. Sometimes it's an accent thing, and sometimes it's just a personality thing, right? That's just how it comes across. Like I personally speak really fast, and it's not because I'm trying to, roll over something. It's just that's how I am. I speak fast. And so some people just might have, whether it's a deeper or, maybe it's like a shouting voice kind of thing, but.
No, not deeper, not deeper. Just the tone, the respect. Okay, now I understand that things can get heated in meetings, but how about always coming back to getting control? Because it sounds like a loss of control. When there is a sense of loss of control, that instills fear. Maybe it's intended to, but you want us not to be afraid, not to have those concerns. So what I would say, then that has to continually be addressed. Things get out of hand or if people are feeling passionately, that's wonderful, but then someone has to draw it back to calm, rational exchange.
I agree. And thank you for that feedback. As your president, that should be my job. That should be me saying, all right, everyone pause. And that is, thank you, something that I will certainly work on. So I do appreciate those words.
Sure. And I don't mind how fast you speak. It's the audio here. Thank you. I'm fast too. I talk too fast. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, so before I get started, I don't want to come off as like insubordinate or disrespectful. These are just things that I've observed and some of my concerns with the past few board meetings, actually like past several board meetings. But touching on what Geraldine said about the respect like you guys were talking about and the manner that you guys speak to each other. It seems to be very overtly hostile and toxic and just really snippy. There's been name calling, which is concerning. It's like it's almost like playground fights, like for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
but like there's been a few instances where people have said, well, you bring your people and I'll bring my people, like in regards to what happened with the door in St. Pius being on lockdown. There seems to be a lot of fighting going on, and to me, it looks like the board is almost divided. Where Deborah and Natasha do a lot of the talking, and Sylvia and Marge do a lot of the talking. You try to control everything, and then Edgar and Sam don't really seem to have an opinion other than when it's time to vote, which is also kind of concerning. They don't ever speak up that I've seen. So yeah, it's concerning, and it's kind of, for lack of like, kind of embarrassing that we're represented this way, that people are seeing it, like how you guys interact, and like I said, I don't mean for this to come off like insubordinate or disrespectful. I'm just telling you like how I perceive it. And then with the board divide, it's the other side, Natasha and Deborah and Sam and Edgar seem to be pushing, they're saving the taxpayers' money. Like for example, can you explain why we got rid of the building and maintenance tax? Because when Natasha was asked to explain why she was voting no, she at least said she didn't have to explain herself. And to me, it's kind of concerning, because you're supposed to be supporting the library, not saving the taxpayers' money. This is something that we had to go to referendum to get, so it's going to be hard to get back. And you're throwing that away because you're serving the taxpayers and not the library. That was kind of confusing. The messaging is a little confusing. The whole save money messaging, whereas shouldn't you be supporting the library?
I get your concerns. I can't speak on, why she would say, she doesn't need to explain. And to an extent, right? Some of the stuff that we go over, that we vote on, if there's a question, like let's say on a check that needs to be signed or something, we don't necessarily discuss it at the meeting. Like sometimes we'll just email the director and say, hey, what is this for? Or hey, what is this about? So that way, hopefully, right, our meetings are not 3 hours long. So we do try to do some communication internally, and usually, and just so you guys know, in case you're not sure, so the board members can't all talk directly through email. Like I can maybe email Marge, and it's me and her, 2 people. It's okay, we can kind of talk on something. But if I now copy a third person, now it's a discussion, and now that's against like other rules. So the board itself cannot email each other internally and have a whole conversation that's like on a sidebar. So if they have a specific question or something, it usually has to go through the director, and usually I'm happy, right? So just so you guys know a little bit about that. So sometimes that's why there's a little bit deeper discussions at the meeting, because we haven't had a chance to discuss it. And sometimes there is none because they already, hashed it out with the director and they know, okay, this is what this is for. Yep, approved. So sometimes there is no need to go back and forth when we're voting on certain things. And that's the whole point of the board, is that you don't have one person leading everything, right? It is, everyone has their own opinion, and that's why it's a majority rule. And yes, we're supposed to represent the taxpayers. So what does that mean? It could mean certain different things to certain people. And so sometimes it's like, okay, well, let's save our taxpayers money, right? Because we didn't pass that building and maintenance levy. Well, now they're going to get a little bit, have to pay a little bit less, right, in their tax. It may not be a significant amount, right? But to somebody, hey, I'm saving you money. So that means something. While to others, it's, hey, it doesn't, not so much that our job is to save the taxpayers money, but our job is to spend that money wisely. So that's just part of the board, different ideas, different opinions. That's just how they take their position. And that's why you guys, everyone, is our meetings are open meetings. Anyone can come if they, and I moved the discussions, for anyone open public before any of our votes, because if you guys see something on the agenda and you say, hey, I know you guys are voting on this, I just wanted to stress that I'm okay, or I'm not okay, or I don't want this, or, I hope you take my thoughts into your consideration. So the more people can get out to these meetings, even better, right? Because that way it's not just saying, well, the taxpayers are not okay with that. Like well, let's hear from some. So I cannot speak directly to, some of the people's opinions. But it's just that's part of the board. It's
My concern was that this was something that was passed by the taxpayers in a referendum, so that's something they approved, and now we're kind of taking their decision away by saying, we're not gonna do this anymore. Did any taxpayers express concern about it, or to get rid of it? Like, why was it even brought up to get rid of?
It's just something we do have to vote on every year, I believe. It's every year.
Yeah,
It's something we do have to.
He's right, there was a referendum, it was passed.
well, the building maintenance isn't, it's not a referendum, it's a.
It was on there. And he's right, and they just decided to just drop it. And now to reinstall it would take another referendum.
It just, I would like the why is all. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
For a lot of us.
So,
But it's done, and there's nothing we can do.
Because it's-
The past another referendum,
It's,
which will never be done.
um,
So that money is gone.
and there's like the lack of respect for you in the meetings where people are speaking over you, when you're trying to calm them down. I don't know what the pledge debacle was, at the last meeting, but there are people screaming at each other and people are screaming the pledge of allegiance while people are trying to like see what's going on. It just looks, it looks very chaotic.
I understand the Pledge of Allegiance thing. So I made the initial decision to put a comment box in the break room, right? Because I know that there were some concerns. I know there's some people who did not want to speak up. So I personally suggested the comment box. I did not go through the board. I did not say anything to anyone other than to Leighton and Joanne. Hey, put the comment box and let's see what are the concerns, and I can bring it up to the board. So that was one of the issues with one of the trustees where she said, well, since you're doing anything you want, we can do anything we want. And she put the Pledge of Allegiance thing. And not that I'm against or for, like, by all respect, it's our flag. However, a couple meetings ago, there was a board decision to not do the Pledge of Allegiance during the meeting, which is why it kind of got a little shouty a little bit. And that was not me saying, no, don't do the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm trying to do the board's decision. Now, my decision to do the comment box, I did not act on any of your comments. I did not do anything, with those comments yet. So that was just a little bit, I guess, taken the wrong way. So that is what happened there. But I do understand, like, yes, there might be shouting and respect, and maybe Joanne, you can bring me the little hammer thing at the next meeting. And that's something that I need to work on, maybe, just put my foot down a little bit harder.
And can I just mention, I did take away the comment box, it's no longer.
It's not there.
Oh, we don't have it anymore?
No, but they were against it, so I.
No, there was one person against it. And at that meeting, I asked after that, did anyone have a problem with it? And I went through them one by one, and they said they were fine. So you can put that back.
Absolutely.
There is no reason why your voice should not be heard. We should not have to do these meet and greets. You should know who we are by coming into this library. You should know who we are by, seeing us at the meetings. And if you're, don't stay late for those meetings, you should be able to freely come up to us. And I know there's been some on the videos, like apparently someone or some of the trustees come in and some employees are saying they cannot talk to the trustees. I don't know, true or false, it doesn't matter. Just know that you guys can talk freely and voice your opinions freely to any trustee. And if there is someone who is telling you that you cannot talk to a trustee, please bring that up to Joanne or myself, because that is a problem.
Yes, and it's too bad that we have to have a secret box, but at least we're gonna try that out and figure out what's going on, because It's too bad we have to have that, but we have to have it because some people have to know that there are things going on. And
I
people
know a
have
lot of
feelings.
people are concerned about retaliation and with the way it's,
Sure, of course you are.
yeah.
Me too, if I were in your booth. I absolutely would.
I used to have those kind of
If I was outside and watching those meetings,
but,
I'd be afraid too.
well,
I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
And I know it's not like the best, right? It's us three and it's really kind of that divided again, right? Us three showed up and the other, half the board did not. And again, it's not because we're just trying to make it so the most of you can come, did it not on the weekend. And again,
We need to change the date.
I tried doing it, and I was like, you have about a week notice, so we get more people involved. But again, the trustees, some of us have full-time jobs. I thankfully, live next door, and I get to work from home today. So I'm just taking my lunch and I'm here. Not everyone has that luxury. So just know it's not because we're divided, and I know maybe our opinions might be divided, but us as the board, we will work together. We do work for you guys and your voice, and your voice matters. So that comment box, please put it back. Please reach out to me directly. I will leave you guys my email and my cell phone, like you guys can. And remember, whatever you guys come with me, I cannot act on that alone. I cannot say, yes, you can take Saturday off. And I cannot say, yes, I understand, I will make sure that gets added to the agenda. Anything like that, like I can put things up for a vote, right? And I can add it to the agenda for discussion. So just know, like, your concerns are valid, but I cannot make decisions on my own. Doesn't, even if I'm president, like I can't. What you got for me?
well, I also heard that you guys were going to stop putting the board meetings up on YouTube. Is that true?
That has not been brought up. I know there's some people who don't want it on there. And this is my personal opinion, is I like them up. And if there's a certain reason why you don't like that they're up, whether it's because of how you're perceived, well, then that's something you need to work on as a trustee.
Right.
I like that they're up.
Removing those.
Yeah. I like that they're up because you guys can't make all the meetings. And I know all the people, that we represent cannot make all the meetings. And I know our meetings are 3 hours long, and maybe you don't care about one topic, but you care about the second one. And you have that luxury of fast forwarding, right? My only advice to you guys is if there's something you guys are looking for, like in the video, don't watch the 5 second, 10-second mark where we say yes or no. Like watch that at least a little bit in entirety. So there's no, okay, how
One of the things, I'm sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
about the YouTube videos is you can watch it in increments too. You don't have to watch a 4-hour video all at once. You can that's what I do. I watch them like 30 minutes at a time. And like by the end of the week, I'm caught up, which is nice. And that's really all I'm asking for, is just a little more transparency and clarification on why these decisions are being made.
that, if that ever goes to vote, right now, I have not said anything. I like that they're on the YouTube. I don't, no one has said anything much about not continuing to put them on. My only advice is if it gets brought to me where has to get put on the agenda and it has to go up for a vote, that you guys are present and voice those opinions. That is something we would have to vote on.
That's good.
But if the board, the board represents you guys, who represent our taxpayers, and so just invite, you guys are, local, a lot of you guys are local to here, invite your family and friends to come and say, hey, I know you guys are voting on this today, voice their opinion. Whether it's the YouTube video or anything else on our agenda, we want to hear from you guys, and it's okay for you guys to persuade our decision. Like, if you guys bring up something that I hadn't even thought of, oh yeah, then maybe I should vote yes to this because that matters to these people. So just show for the things you guys care about, if you guys can.
And this will be the last thing I touch on, but yeah, I know I had a list.
We're here.
We might all be thinking.
Otherwise, I could be home.
Some of the board members speak, like we touched on before, there were comments about, like, when discussing the background checks. It's fine, like, I'm totally on board with getting a background check, it makes sense. But the way they addressed it was, I think the quote was, well, we don't know what kind of people we have working here. And it sounded very like almost accusatory, like you don't know us, like, and going back to the board, representing the library, I constantly see you here. I see Sylvia, I see Marge, but I don't see any of the other board members here other than board meetings. So I kind of want to know, why are they on the board if they're not going to utilize the library? I don't know. And then furthermore, when speaking about like negative feedback, which is totally fine, like we need constructive criticism to get better, you know. We're all about like being better to help people. But the way I perceived it was another board member said, well, we only hear about the good. This is like, we need to hear more about the bad, or I don't know if that's verbatim, but it was along those lines. And then, to me, that sounds like either you're tired of hearing about the good, like, and all the good the library does for our community, or you are accusing us of maybe burying negative comments, which is not the case at all. Like, we want to know negative feedback so we can be better. But it just came off very, like, almost like we're lying, or like they're tired of hearing about like all the good stuff we do. And to me, that kind of comes off with a lack of appreciation and pride in the library. You're supposed to be serving and representing. So
There's a lot of comments that Mark of like cynicism and suspicion,
yeah,
and not really trying to consider us even as people, but treating the library as like a business. In that, like, just. That's all I got, but.
it's cold,
very-
like it comes off cold and
Yeah.
unappreciative.
Very cold.
It's a very
Yeah.
cup is half empty.
Yeah, very, like I said before, overtly negative, and accusatory. Without asking, like you said, ask questions, that's fine, but when you jump to conclusions before asking questions, it just, it's like, it feels like we're being judged, like, unfairly.
Of course. So fortunately, right, I can't answer why some board members are board members, right? Why are they on this board if they don't come to our programs, if they don't actually check out and I don't know if anyone specifically does or doesn't. My hope is that the people who are serving the board are the people who are using the library so that they know the good and the bad, because, right, we want to make the library better, right? That's always our goal, is to be the best library. That is something, thankfully, this will be recorded, and I will, you know, hopefully some of the other members can address it. And then, you know, in regards to like the negative feedback, I think you're referring maybe like one of the Halloween comments and
Yeah, which
even
is totally
Facebook comments and things.
Fine with negative feedback, we
Yeah.
want to know, like, I think you said that in the board meeting about the trustees, you want to know how you're perceived and what you could do to be better. But when you come off like,
Right, don't just give a problem, say, hey, here's a problem and here's a suggested solution.
yeah,
It's like
Um,
more constructive criticism
Yeah.
Right,
rather than.
I get that, and that's definitely something we can take back to the rest of the board members and say, hey, okay, if you yourself notice something, or if someone said to you something that went wrong at the library, make sure you're bringing that up to the director or, you know, whoever may be in charge currently, at the library who can do something about it, right?
In a timely fashion.
or talk about it,
Not just-
but,
Yeah,
but like, to say we only hear about the good, like, that, to me, it's,
very telling.
it hurts, like, to say, like, if you feel unappreciated, like, to say, like, you're tired, to me, it comes off like you're tired of hearing about how good the library is, and I would think you would want to know, you would be proud of how awesome the library is you represent. So that was a very hurtful comment.
Well, thank you for bringing that. I know, and I know it's hard, right, to speak, and I know you're trying to speak on some of the employees and your own opinion, so. And I can't speak on behalf of the whole board, right? I don't know why they do the things they do, or why they might say the things they say, or what's the process behind, you know, some of their voting. And, you know, I can only speak for my own. I know you guys, you know, see me here. I like a lot of the kids programs. If you guys didn't know, you know, I come here with twin boys, 2 4-year-olds and then a 1-year-old. So you will see me at some of the events here. And, you know, my hope is that the people who are on the board are wanting to do good for the library. If you don't think that that's what they're doing, you know, we have elections coming up. So just, you know, I know I saw some of the signs on the door. Anyone is welcome to run, you know, within the guidelines, right? You gotta be a Stickney resident or Forest View. But, yeah, sorry. But, you know, that's just definitely some criticism we will take back to the board, and hopefully we can do better, right? Because we don't want to be perceived as a divided board, and we don't want you guys to think that we are, you know, gonna vote no to everything good for the library and like that. Like, there is a reason behind it, right? So if we're voting no to this, it should be because of X, Y, Z. And so hopefully we can be more transparent. And I know, you know, sometimes on the videos, it's not that it's not the full story, right? Because you guys are watching the whole video. But just make sure, you know, any concerns you guys have, just bring it up directly. And again, you know, I'm happy to, you know, forward or share any, you know, direct feedback that you guys have. And, you know, it's just hopefully up to the person and the people to take that constructive criticism back.
I was really looking forward to this. Like, I was happy you guys decided to have this meeting and clear the air. It's just unfortunate that the whole board couldn't be here.
And it's a long time running, or a long time thing, right? We shouldn't, besides clearing up the air, you guys should know who your board president is and who your board members are. And so we really should be coming out more to the events, or we should really just show our face a little bit more. And, you know, regardless of if we're working full time, we're still all very local. And we should show our face, so at least one event a year at minimum. Yeah, right. Some of the things we voted on, make sure that, you know, we signed this check. Let's see how good, you know, how good with that Santa Claus. So, you know, yes, we will definitely take that feedback, and hopefully we'll have a little bit more answers for you. Hopefully we can discuss a little bit more at the board meeting stuff of how you guys feel, how this went. And Sylvia, Mark, you guys have anything you want to add?
We're gonna be saying goodbye pretty soon, so.
Okay. Which is sad.
No, it's not.
We, yeah,
Some new blood, this is new ideas. That'll be good. That's always good.
Well, you've been very good for us. Yeah. You'll still come to the library.
Of course. Of course, you know
Yeah,
that.
don't.
I love the book, the library, I love the programs. I'll be there.
We want.
And then you'll deliver to the old one and the one.
so again, I think the only biggest thing I can stress, let me go over here. The biggest thing I can stress, right, is if you feel that something is not right, if someone is literally telling you you cannot speak to a board member or you cannot voice your opinion, bring that up to Joanne immediately, bring that up to me, or hopefully you forward that to me, because that is very concerning. I do not like hearing that supposedly on 3 separate occasions for 2 of the members that someone is saying that they cannot talk, that you guys cannot talk to the board members. You guys are welcome to give us any feedback, right? And there should be no retaliation back. Like, this is your opinion, your vote. And again, not one person on the board can make a decision for anything, right? It is the majority. So it is all of us. So just.
I can't speak for anybody, but I've never been told or scared to speak to any board members. So I don't know where that would have come from, but definitely in the youth department, I don't think that's a problem.
Okay, good. Is there any concerns that you guys have seen like that you guys feel like you guys cannot talk to any board members?
Not in circulation.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay, cool.
I hope you don't think, and I certainly hope you don't think that your jobs or your benefits are in jeopardy. That's the most, if you take nothing away from this meeting, please take that away from this meeting.
Well, we also
Right,
take
Rosa?
a lot of pride in the community we serve and the way we're represented.
You know, if I'm so proud of this library. And people come from all the communities to come to this library,
Yeah.
to their programs, to be with you. It's you. It's not this building. It's not the rug. They don't love the rugs. They love the people. and what you do here. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm not me, I'm all of us collectively. And I just don't want you to not take that away from this. You are so wonderful. What you do so well. And I just don't want you to lose that. Please, no, don't lose that. Because we are so proud of you.
Yeah.
And you just do such a good job. Every department does such a good job. And I mean, I don't know how, Johanna, how you're holding down that department all by yourself. I don't know how. You're doing great. You're really doing great. And I'm very proud of you. I mean, I know you since you started when you were here. And, you know, and I mean, you're doing just a spectacular job. And Ron's got how he's grown in that job. It's just beautiful. You're doing such a great job over there. And adult services, I'm so proud of that. I mean, children's, I don't know what the hell you can't.
I can vouch for how good they are.
There are people coming from work, all over the world coming to children's services. And you're doing such, and I was so worried. I gotta tell you, I was so worried when we stole Central Stickney. I mean, we literally stole, you know that. You know the story about that. And we just stole it. We had a lawyer.
Annex them.
Right, we backdoored and annexed them for their tax money because we needed money. We backdoored and we stole their tax money. And then we said, now what are we gonna do? We better do something. We better give them something for their money. And you guys have been wonderful. I'm so proud of
We
you.
love Central Stickney.
Right. People from there had been coming here and they had to pay the equivalent of what
It's like 5 or 6 people.
but still.
I worked at CERC and there was always a tricky explanation. Pat always had her tax bill there and said, this is what we pay. And so actually, you would always come out a little bit ahead if you paid out of pocket, but they quite didn't understand that everybody pays to use the library. You guys just pay directly, where the rest of us pay.
And
The next part of it, why we brought them in, is because they were an unserved area. They couldn't get cards at Chicago.
Garfield Ridge, yeah. But then we got SAS School, and then we got all the, and I'm just so proud of you. See, I burst from the stage. You can see, I'm so proud of you. I truly, everywhere I go, I just say, I'm so proud of Stickney-Forest in my life. And it's just you are the people that do it. I guess it's not the company, it's you people.
We're all constant and well-oiled machine, like everybody's job is different, but it's all essential.
Which is even more important, which is the most important thing, you all work together so well.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I hope yeah, I think that.
We have a different family atmosphere.
Everyone is so creative. Within all the departments, and it just. That's what makes it nice for me to watch it here.
So this is why it's such a great place, and I just want you to know that for till April, I'm fighting for my tooth and my nails and whatever else I have, my old creaky bones, and then we're fighting for you, and we're hoping that you are going to just continue to do your jobs as well as you continue to do them, and just know we love you. We absolutely, and we appreciate what you do, and I don't know how else to say.
We worked for years to bring it to this point.
Well, God.
But you don't know, we've been on, we will have, they did 24 years. So.
When there was nobody to run the library. The board of trustees were running the library, which was scary as hell.
And it was after bringing their own toilet paper because.
Yeah. I wasn't here then.
They've come a long way. Good.
I'm very proud of you. I stand up if I could, and so to the birds. You're truly wonderful people.
I'll
Every
stand
single one.
up for
You truly- Merry Christmas, and let you know that we are.
So appreciative. Yes, we are appreciative of all your work, and I know, you know, it may not seem that way in videos or, you know, anything, whatever you guys think, like, perceive us, we appreciate this library is a great library. And it's, you know, we see the reviews, we see like, it's the staff, and that's what makes it run well, and so we do appreciate your work. And we will try to keep things the way they are, and if not, they'll get better.
Yeah, we're gonna make it, and then new people will make it even better.
Anything else, Michelle? Anything from you? Margaret, oh, sorry, yeah, you're right, Margaret. I know.
Oh,
Margaret,
no.
anything else?
No, yeah, I hope for the best. Just hope for the best. Thank you so very much.
Of course, thank you for joining us on Zoom.
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah, and again, I will share this with the rest of the board, and you have a link, share it with anyone else, because I know we talked about a lot of things that maybe, you know, other members might have questions on, or you had questions that we hopefully answered.
And use the box. Don't be afraid to use it.
I appreciate that.
Oh,
If nothing else, it will give her some things to put on the agenda. Yeah.
I am, I'm the one who makes the agenda along with the director, so I can add things to it. So if there's a concern that you guys want us to talk about, let me know.
Cool.
And with that said, you guys, please take some, because we did not bring these for nothing.
Turn off the camera, but see me.
Okay, I'm gonna end the recording. Thank you for coming, Margaret.
Thank you.
Thank you. But I don't know how to use the.
Listen, one of you, I truly do adore you all. You know that.
We know. We know.
Really? And you're all, you really are important to me. I brought you up as little babies.
This, I mean, can't speak for, I think I'll be going on 10 years. But yeah, how far we've come, a long time too. Yeah, so, yeah, 18.
Did I turn it off? I can see, I have very good.
Yeah. I remember. Got a good calendar.